Okay. This actually is where I ended off last time. It's been a while since I worked on this one. I thought I hadn't even started this one. But then apparently I checked, and I did actually. Okay. I'll get this started again. I'm sorry for not working on some of these books for a good while. I'll work on this one, then I'll do the Dragon Hatchling, then I'll do more Spider. And then if I've got time, I'll work on campfire cooking. I'll just get stuff done. Okay. Alright, I see you killed 5 giant toads within 3 days as requested. The completion of your quest is confirmed. Good work, everyone. I made a report to the receptionist at the Adventurers Guild and received the posted reward. Aqua and Megamine both stank of toad slime and might have caused more untoward misconceptions to boot, so I'd sent them off to the public bath. I had been a little concerned about proving we'd killed all 5 toads, since none of them had been vaporized by a magical explosion, but it turned out my adventurer's card indicated how many monsters I'd killed and of what type. Okay, that's good. I presented my card to the event receptionist along with Megamine's, and the girl simply used a strange box on the counter to check them. It was true that magic rather than science had been the focus of development in this world, but there was still some pretty amazing technology here. When I looked at my card again, it said Adventurer Level 4. I'd heard giant toads were an easy way for beginner adventurers to raise their level. I'd taken out 4 of them all by myself, and it had been enough to get me to level 4. Then again, the lower your level, the quicker it went up. The stats on my card had risen a bit, but I didn't feel like I'd gotten especially stronger. I found myself muttering, so you really do get better just by defeating a few monsters. Back when she'd first introduced us to adventuring, the girl at the counter had told us that everything in this world had a soul. That whenever you ate something or kill something, whenever you put an end to the life of another living thing, you absorb some of that thing's memories. I guess that really is a lot of like a video game. Huh. That's not like any video game I've seen before. If there is, let me know. When I looked more closely at my card, I found the words skill points along with the number 3. I could use those points to gain some abilities. Now then, we're buying 2 giant toads from you, along with the quest completion award that comes to 110,000 Eris. 110,000? Minus the cost of transport, each of those frogs was worth 5,000 yen. The reward for actually completing the quest was another 100,000. According to Aqua, most parties had 4 to 6 people when they attempted a quest, so think of an average party of adventurers risking their lives in pitched battle for a day or two, and coming home with 5 frog carcasses. Along with the completion award, they would make 125,000 yen. In a 5-person party, each party member would come away with 25,000 yen. That was so not worth it. You'd be talking about a rate of 25,000 yen a day if the quest took only 1 day. That might sound like a pretty good deal to the average person, but remember, we were putting our lives on the line here. If even 1 more toad had popped up today, for example, I might have been eaten too. And then there would have been no one to help us. Party wipe. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up just thinking about it. I took a look at the other quests on the board. Cut down agile trees, causing trouble in the woods, reward by volume. Please help me find my lost pet, white wolf. Seeking swordsmanship tutor for my son. Note only rune knights or sword masters needed apply. Dude, that's kind of high expectations. I know you're looking for a swordsmanship teacher, but never mind. Do you want to be part of my magical experiments? No, must have exceptional HP or strong magic defense. Whew, this world sure didn't make it easy for you. I'd been an adventurer for only 2 days and I've already wanted to return to Japan. Pardon me, may I have a moment? I was sitting in a chair nearby, nursing a bout of homesickness when a soft voice came from behind me. I looked up with eyes deadened by the realities of this fantasy world. Sure, how can I help you? And then I saw the owner of the voice and was at a loss for words. A few months. Oh no! Darkness! Oh no! I don't want to do this part! Because you guys know how darkness is! Oh no! I really don't want to make the fucking noises that she makes! No! This is so fucking cringe. I am so sorry, guys. I don't want to do those noises. So when it comes to her, I'm just gonna skip the noises. I'm sorry. I just can't bring myself to do it without busting out laughing or feeling like I'm gonna be embarrassed and die. A female knight, and a drop-dead gorgeous one at that. She was looking at me expressionlessly. She gave off an almost palpable cool. She was just a little bit taller than I am. I'm 5'4", so she was maybe, say, 5'6". She wore sturdy-looking metal armor, and golden hair framed her blue eyes. I guess she was a year or two older than me. Her armor hid just what type of body she had, but something about her was incredibly sexy. Despite her cool look, she gave off the impression of suffering somehow. Oh, no. This was the most cringe thing in the fucking show, was dealing with darkness and her freaking tendencies to want to be punished. Oh my god. It was funny at the same time, but it was still so damn embarrassing, I'm assuming, for Kazuma and the others. Whoa, hang on, I can't go falling in love at first sight. Yeah, you don't really want that. No, you really don't. Oh, yes, what can I do for you? I could deal with someone younger than me like Megumin, or someone who was, or at least looked my age like Aqua, but my voice cracked a little with nervousness, so I talked to this obviously older woman. That's what I get for being a lifelong hikikomori. Essentially an otaku. A nerd. But, yeah, I wouldn't say she's that older than you. If you're like a year or two older, and you're, I'm assuming, at least, I assume you're at least 16 to 18 at least. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. But if he's at least 16 at the youngest, she's at least 18. And if not, then she's at least 20 at the oldest. Unless, like I said, I'm dead wrong. Because I think, if I remember correctly, he was still in school, or maybe he wasn't. I don't know. That's why I'm not sure. And if you hear a squeaking sound, I think it's partially my desk and partially my chair. Because my desk isn't sturdy, it like moves. If I lay my arm on it and I move my arm, it moves. Let's see. Tell me, was it your party that posted this for recruitment? Are you by any chance still recruiting? The female knight held out a piece of paper. I'd forgotten we hadn't taken down the recruitment notice since adding Megumin. Oh, that! Yes, we're still looking for more members, but to be perfectly honest, I can't recommend it. Please, oh please let me be in your party. I've been trying to put her off gently, but the knight suddenly grabbed my hand. Huh? Whoa, hold on, I should warn you, we have a lot of problems. Neither of the other members is even slightly capable, and I'm in the lowest class. In fact, just a little while ago, both my friends wound up covered in slime. Ow, 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 ow! She'd squeezed my hand extra hard the moment I said covered in slime. Oh, God, I swear. This whole thing with darkness is so funny, but at the same damn time, it is so embarrassing for Kazuma and them. I swear. Oh, my God. And also add to the fact that she can't hit anything. That was one of her biggest drawbacks, was that. Not even the whole masochist thing. Was the fact that she can't hit the broadside of a barn if she was standing in front of it. And it didn't move, which a barn doesn't do, but still. Like, I could stand in front of her, not move a muscle, and she'd try to hit me, like, and she wouldn't be able to hit. She wouldn't be able to do it. That's how bad she is. I knew those were your companions I saw earlier with all that goop on them. How did they end up like that? Please let me get covered in... No! What? What did you just say? Wait, let me try again. What I mean is, how could I, a knight, overlook two tender young women in such a state? How about that? I'm a crusader, an advanced class of knight. I believe that fits your requirements. What's with this girl? She was giving me the crazy eye. She seemed so calm just a moment ago. Oh yeah, you're dealing with a masochist there, girl. Dude. Excuse me. Sorry. I just got done eating earlier, and I had my drink with me, and I guess that's what caused that. Okay. A red flag went up in my mind. This girl had something in common with Akko and Megumin. I hated to turn down a looker, but I had no choice. Well, I'm sorry, but as I said a moment ago, I really can't recommend this party. One of our members has yet to be of any use to anybody, and the other can only cast only a single spell per day. And again, I'm the lowest possible class. We're one dysfunctional group, so I really recommend you look elsewhere. Her grip on my hand tightened further. That's even better. The truth is, it's hard to say out loud, but I'm confident in my defensive abilities. I am. But I'm a bit of a klutz, and my attacks never hit, so yeah, that's the problem. No wonder she is having a hard time finding a dang group. Not to mention the whole masochist thing is kind of, some people probably would see it as a turn on, but I'd say it's a turn off, to me. Because that, coupled with the fact that she can't hit worth shit, yeah, no. I'd be like, no, why would you do that to yourself? Good God. Good old reliable intuition. Yep, your intuition wasn't wrong on that. So I'm an advanced class, but it's not a big deal. I want you to send me right out in front. Use me as a shield. Damn it. Poor Kazuma. He's got to deal with her now. Where is her hand? Oh, there it is. I was like, where is her hand at? And then I saw her hand is like right here. I was like, what the fuck? Her hand disappeared? The female knight brought her face with its graceful features close to mine as I sat in my chair. Very, very close. Because I was seated, she stood above me, but she'd gotten so near that her long golden hair brushed my cheeks and set my heart pounding. Now I was really paying for that hikikomori life. No, I wasn't. This was just too much stimulation for an adolescent virgin, and it was throwing me off. Adolescent, so I'm guessing he isn't 18 yet? So my guess that he was like 16, 17 is probably right. Stay calm. Don't get taken in by her wiles. Now, how can we use a woman as a shield? We really are an extremely weak party, ma'am, so I think you'd wind up as a monster punching bag on every single quest. That's what I'm looking for. No, it's not. Just today, my two companions were eaten by giant toads and ended up all slimy. Seriously, that's likely to happen every single day. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now I get it. Yep, he caught on. He caught on that she's a freaking masochist. It would have been better to read this series without having seen the anime, of course, because I would have been shocked at this. But, yeah, I knew this was coming and I was not looking forward to it. As probably partially the reason why I had stopped working on this, because I didn't want to deal with darkness. And I still don't want to deal with darkness. But, yeah. And if you hear something in the background, it's my heater. It's cold in this house. And sitting at a computer, your hands are going to get cold, so, yeah. The female knight gripping my hand and blushing. As I looked at her, it finally dawned on me it wasn't just her abilities that wouldn't help us. Like the rest of my party, she was useless to the core. Okay, Chapter 2. May there be treasure. By which I mean panties in this right hand. No, not getting the steel skill. I thought he had already gotten that by this point. Hey, I've been meaning to ask. How exactly do you acquire skills? It was the day after we'd fought the giant toads. We were having a late lunch at the guild tavern. In front of me, Megumin, who apparently had no money and had been unable to eat anything decent until she met us, was single-mindedly working her way through a combo meal. Akko was getting a nearby waiter to bring her seconds. She sure had a fine appetite for a woman her age. You'd think a party of 2 girls and 1 guy would basically be a starter harem, but this wasn't hot at all. Megumin looked up, fork still in hand. How to learn skills? Why, from the place on your card that shows currently available skills, of course. Oh, your class is Adventurer, is it not? Since that's a starter class, you have to have someone teach you new skills. Have them show you a skill, then guide you through it. Then it will appear on your card, and you can allocate points to it. Simple. Okay. I was pretty sure the clerk at the guild said adventurers could learn any skill, meaning if I got you to show me how to do it, Megumin, I could even learn Explosion. Yes, exactly. Wow. She became inordinately excited by my offhanded question. Yeah, so this is exactly, Kazuma. It would take an outrageous number of points, true, but Adventurer is the only other class besides Archwizard that can learn Explosion. Okay, cool. If you'd like to learn it, I will show it to you as many times as you want. After all, is there any other skill that is even worth learning? No, of course not. Your opinion, dude. Now, Kazuma, join me on the explosive path. Her face was so very, very close. Calm down already, jailbait. I only have 3 skill points anyway. Can I learn explosion with that? Jailbait? Dude. You are at least... Shoot, I'm assuming she's at least 15. And she has no chest. She looks like a little kid. So yeah, I can kind of see what she meant by that. This is actually no. No, what it is no, she's not quite a lolicon. She's not that. Because she would have to look like a little... She would have to really look like a little kid for that to pull off. But yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, I don't know if I would have picked that word, but still. Megumin was too overcome to continue the conversation, so I turned to Aqua. An adventurer who wanted to learn explosion wouldn't manage it with 10 or 20 points. She said, if you worked at it for about 10 years, saving up every single skill point, you might be able to learn it. Who would wait that long? You say I am jailbait? Megumin, seemingly in a state of shock at my turn of phrase, hung her head and returned to wolfing down her meal. Let me look up that phrase real quick. Real quick. Because I think I'm getting the word wrong. At least I hope I'm getting it wrong. Damn it, I clicked on the wrong thing. Hold on. Is this something that refers to the P word? The P... I'm not saying it. Okay, a teenager or teenagers collectively considered in sexual terms, although under or possibly under the age of consent. Really? Aren't teenagers usually under the age of consent? Then again, the age of consent can vary in state to state and in countries, because I don't remember what, I'm assuming the age of consent for the US, or at least where I live, is 18. So, at the very youngest, probably 16. So she's at least 14, 15. Okay. Although, I mean, dude, I know that's technically what it means, but at the same time, you didn't have to say that. Anyway, since the ability to learn any skill at all was one of the few advantages of my class, I might as well make the most of it. Hey Aqua, you must know all kinds of useful skills, right? Teach me something easy, something that won't take too many points but will still be helpful. I'm looking for a good deal here. He's the keyword helpful in this situation. Aqua held her water glass thoughtfully and was quiet for a moment. Well, alright, but just so you know, my skills are serious stuff. I don't go around teaching them to just anybody, got it? She says it like it's a good thing. Because, yes, some of her skills are probably, yes, serious stuff. But what I think she's about to teach him is not. There was Aqua trying to make herself look important again, but since I needed her to teach me, I would just have to tolerate it. Nodding solemnly, I watched Aqua perform her skill. First, look at this glass. It's full of water, right? You're going to take it and balance it on top of your head so it doesn't fall off. Here, try it. I managed to steady the glass on top of my head, all too aware of the stares of bystanders. Then Aqua produced a seed of some kind from who knew where, and set it on top of the table. Now use your finger to flick the seed up into the glass. If you get it, presto, the seed will absorb the water in the glass and... Hey, who asked to learn party tricks, you useless goddess? What? She seemed excessively surprised by my reaction and joined Megumin in sitting dejectedly. She idly flicked the seed around the table. I didn't know what she was so upset about, but I wished she would take that stupid glass off her head. It was attracting attention. Suddenly someone nearby piped up. You're a funny one. Hey, are you that party Darkness wants to get in on? You want to learn something useful? How about some thief skills? Yeah, that was what was her, what was it, party trick? I can't remember what her, skill was she was trying to teach Kazuma. I know it was supposed to be about party tricks. That was like a performer skill, correct? I could be wrong. And that's when I saw the two women at the next table over. The one who called out was a youngish girl with silver hair, very attractive, wearing leather armor and a casual air. There was a small cut on her cheek. She seemed a bit cunning, but also open and cheerful. Beside her sat a lovely girl with long golden hair and a full set of plate mail. She seemed cool and aloof, and wait, wasn't she the female knight who tried to join the party the day before? Oh no, darkness. What the fuck? The thief looked to be a year or two younger than me. Thief skills? What kind of skills are those? The girl seemed pleased by my question. I'm glad you asked. They're very useful for starters. You can detect and disarm traps, you can set an ambush, or steal an item. There are even a bunch of great passive abilities. Your class is adventurer, right? Well, you don't even need many points to learn thief skills. It's a great deal. What do you say? I'll teach you some for the price of 1 crimson beer. So cheap. And on reflection, I realized there was no risk in having this girl teach me something. If I wanted to learn more thief skills, I could always ask one of any of the thieves wandering around town. I don't know if they want to teach you. They probably just steal something from you, dude. Alright, it's a deal. Waiter, 1 crimson beer for the lady, please. Maybe I should start by introducing myself. I'm Chris. I'm a thief, as you can see, and this boar here is Darkness. I think you've already met. She's a crusader, so I don't know if she'll have that many skills you'd want to learn. Great, my name is Kazuma. Nice to meet you, Chris. The 3 of us were all but alone in the square behind the Adventurers Guild. I'd left the other 2 to mope back at our table. Alright, maybe we should start with Sense, Foe, and Ambush. We'll have to take a raid check on Disarm Traps since there aren't many traps around town. Can't you have someone set up a trap and you can disarm it? I mean, surely you could do that, but whatever. Let's see. Darkness, turn around for a second, would you? Huh? Alright. She turned her back as she'd been told. Chris hopped into a barrel at a short distance away so that only her upper body was visible. Then she pitched a stone at Darkness's head and ducked down into the barrel. Was that supposed to be the ambush? Without a word, Darkness strode toward the only barrel in sight. Sense foe, sense foe. I can sense Darkness's rage approaching. Hey, Darkness! You know I'm only doing this to teach the guy some skills, right? Right? Be gentle! Stop it! Chris shouted as Darkness turned the barrel on its side and sent it rolling away. Can I really learn anything this way? I have to agree on this one. Poor girl. Okay then, how about you try my number 1 recommendation? Steal. It snags a single item from the target. Doesn't matter if it's a sword they're clutching or a purse buried deep in their pack. 1 random item. The success rate depends on your luck stat. It can do some pretty great stuff. I mean, that's a good thing to have for your luck stat, that's for sure, considering you have a high freaking luck stat. Maybe you're facing down a fearsome enemy and you grab his weapon, or you can nab some hidden treasure he's got and then make a break for it. Chris had collected her wits after her ride in the barrel, and she was filling me in on the finer points of the steal skill. It certainly did sound useful, and if it really was based on your luck, I finally had a chance to make use of my 1 good stat. I'm gonna use it on you. Now, okay, Chris said. Ready? She held her hand and shouted steal, and suddenly she was holding a small object. It was my wallet! Hey! Nah, there was much in it. Oh, score! That's how you use steal. Here's your wallet. Chris stopped as she was about to hand the wallet back to me, and a smile crept over her face. Hey! She said, how about a little contest? Learn steal right now, then steal any 1 item from me. My purse, my weapon. It's all fair game. Whatever you get, it's gotta be worth more than this ratty thing. She gave my wallet a shake. So I'll keep this wallet, and whatever you get from me, you keep it in exchange. What do you think? Want to give it a try? She sure came up with some strange ideas, but I stopped and thought about it. I had high luck, and I could steal any 1 thing from her. In other words, even if the skill failed, I probably wouldn't walk away empty-handed. Why not give it a try? A bet like this seemed like the sort of thing only a couple of crazy adventurers could get up to. Anyway, I loved it. For the first time since I got to this world, I found something that made me feel like a real adventurer. When I checked my adventurer's card, I found a new field, available skills. When I touched it with my finger, 4 skills appeared. Sense foe, 1 point. Ambush, 1 point. Steal, 1 point. The wonders of nature, 5 points. The Wonders of Nature? Was that the seed in a glass party trick Aqua showed me? That was some name for a parlor trick? Huh? It took more skill points than everything else combined. I admit, I was intrigued by the party trick, but I took it the other skills on my card, Sense, Foe, Ambush, and Steal. That used up my 3 skill points, so the available points field now showed 0. So that was how you learned skills around here. Alright, I've learned it. And you're on. No matter what I steal, no complaining, right? I stuck out my right hand. Strangely, Chris was smiling. Good, I like a man who doesn't back down from a challenge. I wonder what you'll get. You might just recover your wallet. First prize is this enchanted dagger. It won't sell for less than 400,000 Eris. And I even have a consolation prize, these rocks I picked up earlier to throw at darkness. Hey, that's a dirty trick, I said, looking at the collection of pebbles in Chris's hand. I wondered why she seemed so confident. I guess carrying around a bunch of junk items was one way to thwart steal. That is true. Call it your tuition fee. No skill is all powerful. With a little imagination, you can come up with a counter to anything. Lesson learned. Now go for it. Damn it, lesson learned, all right. Seeing Chris grin at me, I even felt like a bit of an idiot for letting her game me like that. This wasn't Japan. This was a world of survival of the fittest. It was my own fault for being gullible. Anyway, my odds might have been lower, but the contest wasn't over yet. Alright, here I come. Luck's always been the one thing I've ever had on my side. Steal! As I shouted, I felt something grasping something tightly in my outstretched right hand. First try! Good luck really was my one gift. I opened my hand and took a close look at what I'd snatched. The heck is this? It was a single piece of white cloth. I held it up to the light. Yahoo! This is even better than first prize! Oh no! Give me back my panties! Chris shouted tearfully, holding down her skirt. You did say he could grab anything! You didn't mention you couldn't grab clothing. So he technically did exactly what the skill said. And he didn't get to pick what it was. You said it was random. So it's not like he did that on purpose. So you can't get mad at him for that. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not random, because then you could get mad at him for it. But yeah. So it's not like I said, maybe the skill has something to do, maybe what you grab depends on what kind of person you are, maybe, because I mean, I can't really be surprised on that one. When I got back to the guild tavern after learning my new skills, I found it in an uproar. Milady Aqua, do it again! I'll pay! Show us the wonders of nature again! You idiot! Our dear Aqua doesn't want money, she wants food! Right, my dear? I'll treat you, so show us the wonders of nature again. For some reason, the crowd surrounded Aqua. She looked more than a little annoyed. This is art! It's not something you can do just any old time someone asks. A great man once said a good-eyed joke is only good once. I'm not some third-rate street player who'd do the same thing over and over just because it's a little popular. In fact, I'm not a performer at all, so I'm hardly interested in making money from my art. That's the very least someone can commit to when they seek to refine their skills. Anyway, the wonders of nature was never something I had intended to show to you lot. And, hey Cosmo, you're finally back. You know, it's your fault this is happening. Say, what's with her? I mean, dude, you chose to show him that skill. That was your own fault. He just asked for something easy that didn't take a lot of points. That was a skill you chose to show him. You could have just said, I don't have any skills that are very low in points. That's all you had to do. And no, you showed him anyway, and now everybody saw it, and they want to see it more. So, yeah. Aqua had noticed the wet-eyed, sulky Chris, who accompanied me as I pushed my way through the crowd. Darkness opened her mouth before I could explain. Chris is upset because not only did Cosmo take her panties, but then he held them for ransom. Hey, way to run your mouth! Hold on, wait, I mean, she's not wrong, but really wait! Chris had wept that she would pay anything I asked if I would let her have her panties back, so I told her she should set the price for her own intimates. That was all. And then I added that if I didn't like the price she named, I would just keep the panties and take them back to become an heirloom of my house. Dude, you kinda did hold them for ransom. She pulled out her wallet along with the one she'd taken from me and traded them for the underwear. Darkness made it sound so unseemly. Dude, That's exactly what happened. All you had to do was say, I'll give them back if you give me my wallet back. That's all you had to do. You didn't technically, you still could have held them. That would have still been holding them for ransom, technically. But, I mean, like I said, it was a complete, you had a chance at grabbing a completely random item. The rocks, her sword, her wallet, your wallet, anything else. You think you could have grabbed a freaking shirt for all her top part of her armor, if I remember correctly. That would have been worse, because then everybody would have been able to tell. It's not like they would have been able to tell you took her underwear unless someone mentioned it. Excuse me. I was starting to squirm under Aqua and Megumin's gazes, taken in as they were by Darkness's telling, but then Chris raised her dejected face. Well, I guess getting your underwear snatched in public is no reason to get in a mood. Alright, Darkness, sorry, but I'm not going to hit up a well-stocked dungeon. I'm going to hit up a well-stocked dungeon I know and do some grinding. I did just use up all my money to get back my hostage panties. Hey, hang on! Aqua and Megumin I'm used to, but every female adventurer in the room is glaring at me now. Just wait! It looked like most of the women there had overheard our conversation. All you have to do is just let them ask, can I please explain what happened? And then if they let you explain, tell them exactly what happened. That you were learning the steal skill and then it chose one random item and that just happened to be the item. You didn't get a choice in the matter. Because then you probably would have taken her dagger. It looked like most of the women there had overheard our conversation. Chris snickered at my anxious expression and said, just a little revenge, eh? Alright, I'm off to make some cash, so play nice, Darkness. Catch y'all later. With that, Chris made for the Adventurers Recruitment Board. Aren't you going with her, Miss Darkness? I asked. The knight still sat at our table like it was the most natural thing in the world. No, I'm a frontline defender. We're an heiress a dozen. Thieves, though, you can't tackle a dungeon with that one. But it's not a flashy job. There aren't many. Everyone wants someone like Chris. I see, come to think of it, Aqua said archpriests were in high demand too. I guess your occupation could get you more than I'd realized. A few minutes later, we saw Chris walk out the door of the guild with several other adventurers and a party she found. She gave us a jaunty wave as she left. They're going to a dungeon now, even though it's almost dark? First thing in the morning, it's the best time to tackle a dungeon, Megumin said. So it is quite common for people to go to a dungeon the night before and camp out at the entrance. There are even some merchants who set up shop outside dungeons specifically to cater to adventurers who are camped there. So, how did it go, Kazuma? Did you learn a new skill? A shameless smile grew on my face hearing Megumin's question. How about I show you? Oh no. Oh no. Why is it? If I remember this correctly, every time I use a steal on a woman, it does her panties. It's not like I said, it's just random. It's just bad coincidence that it's always the fucking panties. How about I show you? Here I go. Steal! I shouted, thrust my right hand toward Megumin. In a flash, I was holding a white piece of white cloth. Panties again! I do not understand. Did your stats go up enough for you to change jobs from adventurer to pervert? She paused. It's rather chilly, so could you please return my panties? What? That's weird. It's not... I mean, it's supposed to take something random. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be random. So why is it panties for him? I don't get it. I know it's a joke, but still. Poor guy is just getting freaking done in on this one. I mean, hell, test it out on someone who's not a girl. And if it does the same thing to them, then it's just like, I don't know what to tell them then. I hurriedly returned the panties to Megumin, and as the looks of the women nearby went from chilly to freezing, I heard someone pound the table with a slam. It was Darkness rising from her chair. For some reason, her eyes were ablaze. I knew it. I knew I had judged correctly. You beast, stealing the panties of such a young girl right out in public. I absolutely must be part of this party. Dude, do you want your panties stolen, girl? Nope. What? At my answer, Darkness turned red and began to shake. What was I supposed to do? I wasn't sure how, but I could tell this female knight was not the useful type. So, of course, Aqua and Megumin were immediately interested in her. Hey, Kazuma, who's this? Is that the girl you said you interviewed while Megumin and I were at the bathhouse yesterday? Wait, is she not a crusader? Why should you wish to refuse such a powerful ally? With one eye on darkness, they each offered their altogether unsolicited opinions. Damn it, and here I'd worked so hard to put her off yesterday. I so didn't want her to meet these two. Alright, let's try this. Listen, Darkness, Aqua and I may not look like much, but we have a job to do. We need to defeat the Demon King. Aqua, of course, wanted to get back to the Divine Realm, but for my part, having been confronted by the reality of a world in which we could barely handle an overgrown frog, let alone a demonic sovereign, I was no longer feeling very enthusiastic about that task. I paid no attention to Megumin, who sat next to us pretending to studiously ignore our conversation. Wait, actually this might be the perfect moment. This goes for you too, Megumin, I said. Aqua and I want to defeat the Demon King at any cost. That's why we became adventurers. And because of that, things are likely to get pretty rough for us. Especially for you, Darkness. You're a Lady Knight. Do you know what the Demon King would do to you if he captured you? Oh, don't give her ideas! I said she's a masochist. Do you really think a masochist would turn that down? No, they wouldn't. Especially since they're a woman. Oh my god. I know exactly what you're talking about, Darkness said. From time immemorial, it has been the role of the Lady Knight to be the erotic plaything of the Demon King. Just that alone is enough to make me join you. Huh? Say what? Her eagerness brought me up short. Yeah, he wasn't expecting that. Huh? What about what? Did I say something strange? Yes, you said something strange! Alright, let's leave that one for now. I turned to Megumin. Megumin, look. We're up against the Demon King here. Aqua and I are taking the fight to the most powerful creature in this world. You don't have to force yourself to stick with us a crazy bunch of... Bam! Megumin suddenly stood up, her mantle fluttering out. My name is Megumin, first among the spellcasters of the Crimson Magic Clan and wielder of Explosion. Is the Demon King known as the strongest in this world, then I shall topple him with the strongest magic in this world. Oh my god. He is just not... This is just not his day. We were getting odd looks from around the hall as Megumin made her proud and thoroughly tweeny declaration. Useless. Don't give me that self-satisfied smirk, you. What was I gonna do? The two problem children I most wanted out of my party were the ones most eager to be in it. Hey, Kazuma. Kazuma! As I sat there stewing, Aqua tugged on my sleeve. After hearing all that stuff you were just saying, I'm not so sure about this anymore. Isn't there an easier way to defeat the Demon King? You better get on board. Aren't you the one who needs to defeat him most of all? At that moment, urgent quest, urgent quest. All adventurers currently in town, please report immediately to the guild hall. Repeat, all adventurers, please report immediately to the guild hall. The announcement boomed throughout the streets. Maybe they were amplifying it with magic? Hey, what do you mean an urgent quest? Is a monster attacking the town or something? I was pretty concerned. Darkness and Megumin, on the other hand, looked thrilled. It's probably about the cabbage harvest, Darkness said happily. It's almost the season. Hold on. I was silent for a long moment. Huh? Cabbage? Is that the name of a monster? I said dumbly. Megumin and Darkness both gave me a strange look of pity. I mean, dude, I wouldn't know either. Cabbages are green and round, Megumin said. You eat them. They're a crunchy, delicious vegetable, Darkness added. I know what a cabbage is. So what? They're putting out an urgent quest so we can all go and do farm work? Granted, I've been in construction myself until just a little while ago, but I didn't come here for agriculture. Oh, Kazuma, I guess you might not know, but the cabbages around here... Aqua was hesitantly trying to tell me something, but the desk clerk cut her off with a loud announcement to the adventurers in the hall. Everyone, please pardon your sudden call. Some of you may have figured this out already, but it's cabbage season. The time for this year's harvest has come. The cabbages are quite full this year, so we will be paying 10,000 eris a head. We have already instructed the townspeople to evacuate their homes. Please catch as many cabbages as you're able and bring them back here. Please take care so their counterattacks don't hurt you. Finally, because of the large number of people involved, we will pay out the reward at the later date. Wait, what did you just say? A cheer went up outside the guild hall. I followed the crowd to see what was going on and saw a bunch of round green objects floating nonchalantly around the streets. As I stood there trying to take it in, Aqua appeared beside me and said solemnly, the cabbages here can fly. They get more flavorful as the harvest approaches, but they don't have any intentions of ending up on the menu without a fight. They make a run for it through the towns and fields and head out to sea. It's said they cross the ocean and spend their days quietly in a place no one knows where they can live out their lives without being eaten. But if we catch even one, we'll get an awfully good meal out of it. I wonder if I could just go back to the stable and hit the hay, I muttered dimly. Next to me, a couple of adventurers braver than I were joining the chase with a shout. Their manly fervor seemed to be stoked by the cabbage's own desire to survive. As the adventurers threw themselves into combat with the vegetables, I had only one thought in mind. How sad is it that I have to fight to the death with some leafy greens? I want to go back to Japan. I don't blame you, dude. This is so fucking weird. I was so confused when I first saw the episode involving this. Like, why? I know it's probably magic, but still. I tried a bite of the stir-fry cabbage they were serving up at the guild. I don't get it. How in the world can a regular cabbage stir-fry be this good? It makes no sense. The harvest was safely over, and all around town, people were trying out different recipes using the stuff. In the end, I forced myself to be part of the cabbage hunt because the money was good, but I felt a twinge of regret. I didn't come all the way to a fantasy world to fight with a bunch of cat vegetables. Way to go, Darkness, Aqua was saying. You really are a crusader. Those vegetables didn't stand a chance against your iron defense. Oh no, Darkness replied. I'm just tough. I'm clumsy and not very quick, so I can hardly hit anything with a sword. Acting as a human wall to protect my party is my only real talent. And the fact that you're a masochist and you love that kinda freaking helps with that too. She paused. That's why Megumin impressed me so much. She's the one who brought down in one magnificent explosion all those monsters who'd followed the cabbages into town. You sure took all the adventurers there by surprise. None can stand against my explosion spell. Megumin took a breath. Really though, Kazuma was remarkable. After I'd collapsed from my spell, he rushed out, collected me, and brought me back. True, Darkness said. When I was surrounded by monsters and cabbages all making me their punching bag, it was Kazuma who appeared and harvested the vegetables. You saved me, Kazuma. I thank you. I saw him hide with his ambush skill, track their movements with Senspo, and finally hit them from behind with a powerful steel attack, Megumin said. It was like watching a master assassin at work. Finally, there was a clink as Aqua set down a plateful of the conquered cabbage. The useless goddess had spent the entire harvest running this way and that by herself, just going after whatever cabbage was nearest, accomplishing nothing. Now she wiped her lips daintily. Kazuma, by my name, I hereby give you the title, Beautiful Cabbage Thief. That's ridiculous. If anyone ever calls me that, I'll pop him right in the mouth. Ugh, how did things come to this? I leaned on the table with my head in my hands. This was an emergency. Anyway, my name is Darkness. My class is Crusader. I carry a two-handed sword, but please do not expect too much from me in battle. I'm so clumsy my attacks rarely land. But I'm very good at being a human shield. I look forward to adventuring with you all. That's right, I had another new party member. Aqua looking quite pleased, and our group is starting to look pretty impressive, huh? There's me, the Archpriest, Megumin, the Archwizard, and Darkness, the Crusader, who specializes in frontline defense. How many parties are there where 3 out of the 4 members are from advanced classes, huh, Kazuma? You are so lucky, you ought to be grateful. Sure, lucky. I got a spellcaster who can use only 1 spell per day, a frontline fighter whose attacks never hit, and the world's dumbest, unluckiest Archpriest who, by the way, still hadn't done a single useful thing. Aqua and Megumin had really hit it off with Darkness during the cabbage hunt, and all of a sudden they invited her to be in our party. Normally I'd have no reason to refuse. I mean, she was gorgeous, but Darkness, when she said her attacks never land, she meant it. Like never. She really is gorgeous, though. Basically, she put every one of her skill points into defensive abilities. She never learned things like two-handed sword. In other words, the offensive skills that give you basic competency in the use of a weapon. I'm guessing she can't level up anymore, which means she can't get more points? Maybe? Is that what the point is here? Is that she can't get more skill points to be able to give herself two-handed swordsmanship? Because then she'd be a really good asset to your party, you know? I'm guessing that's the case, otherwise she probably would have done it, or Kazuma would tell her, put some damn skills in that, points in that skill. What a waste for a girl who was so cool and so hot at the same time. This Crusader of ours also had a weird habit of jumping right in the middle of a horde of monsters. I appreciated that a Crusader whose whole duty was to protect the weak would want more than anyone to leap into the fray and help others, but... No, I'm not saying, I'm not doing the noises, I refuse. When those cabbages and monsters were beating me up, I could hardly stand it. It looked like I'm the only frontline defense this party has, so don't hesitate to offer me up as a hostage or use me as a human shield. If you decide you must sacrifice me to an awful fate to save yourselves from danger, please feel free to do so. I'm not doing this. Just imagining it has me shaking with excitement. Her cheeks had turned a pale red and she was shivering a little. Wait, I get it. She's just a garden variety masochist. Duh! You didn't figure that out from the start. Oh my god. Now when I looked at her, I didn't see a hot girl, just a sexual deviant. So Kazuma, I'm sure I will, be an Albatross around this party's neck at times, so when I am, please punish me mercilessly for it. I look forward to working with you. An archpriest who knew every healing spell, an archwizard who could use the world's strongest magic, and a crusader with an impenetrable defense. It sounded perfect on paper, and yet right now the only feeling I had about the future was a bad one. Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. I really do not blame you. Okay, I'm going to get off of this, and I will see you guys in the next one.